We have an obesity problem in this country. Let's face the facts. Our inboxes are getting fatter and fatter every day. They're bloated and they get larger. So the question is, what am I doing today? Well, we're going to develop some strategies in which to lean down that inbox. So let's look at some stats, the things I always start on. Each business associate emails approximately 46 emails a day and receives about 135. There are 294 billion emails surrounding this society. And 25% of your day is spent on email-related activities, 14% in face-to-face meetings, and only 9% is actually telephoning customers. So let's think about that. And now we have to look at how we're organizing all this data. 80% of us have email inboxes with over 72 emails. 90% of us have 12 folders in our email box. And 50% have over 23 folders. If you look at this, what I gave you are some ideas on what the averages are. And then people have significantly more than that. So what people have done is they've tried to organize the chaos with even more chaos. So first we have to realize, how did we get into this position? Well, we know that because the IT department comes to us and says, hey, you know, your inbox is getting too big. I need you to do what? Well, the enabler says, I just need a little bit more space. And I promise at the end of the quarter, I'll lean it down, just like a drug addict does with a drug addiction. And then there's the denier, which I've done myself, which is, I'm incredulous that a company this size cares about the memory in Paul Bagley's email inbox. I mean, that's the real problem in this company. And then what I call argumentum ad absurdum, which is, if you think less memory in my email box is going to make me more productive, can you imagine how more productive I'll be with even more memory? And then the fourth is the snitch, which is now you do it. Snitch, which is when somebody comes to you and says you have too much email in your email box, you say, you think mine is bad, you should see Jill's down the hallway, which is the most insidious of the kind. But the question is, how did we get to this point? Well, a lot of you are young, but back in the mid-'80s and late '80s, you had an office and you had what they called a large email inbox and an outbox. It was actually a physical device. And people used to go into your office and put things in your inbox. And your job every day was to put as much on the inbox into your outbox. And that's how the day was gauged. It wasn't very long term. You weren't really looking that far out. It was just, who can get to the bottom of their email inbox first? Then came the planners, Franklin planners and daytimers. And that was a revolution, because this way, when you got communications, which could be beepers, if you remember, or phone calls, or actual mail, you would catalog these into a task list. And you would prioritize the task into an A, B, or C priority. And then you would further identify them should I forward these on, should I delegate them, or can I actually complete them? This was fantastic, and you can imagine that your day had more purpose. But now, wow, what happened? Well, everything became automated. So now everything can be, in a matter of a click, you can create inboxes, you can create sent items boxes, and you can have multiple subfolders. You can take an appointment and send it to many people at one time. You can drag your to-do list and make it into an actual date. So now you've organized your life. So you're saying, wow, Paul, this seems like the best of all possible worlds. What could possibly be wrong? Well, there's been abuse of the inbox. People have gotten lazy. We have abandoned the task list. And so we just keep things in our inbox. I mean, I go overseas about 4 or 5 times a year, and they're doing it over there too. They come into work in the morning and they just go through the top of their inbox and they go back down and they look at what's going on that day. So what's happening is that the day is being planned by you. You're not planning the day. So what is our resolution, Paul? Because obviously we're all fat, and Kevin said that. We're all physically fat. Now we got fat inbox. So what are we going to do? First thing is we have a task list. I mean, it would be wonderful to see a task list now. I train young people every day. I speak to people on the phone and go to see them in hospitals. Nobody has a task list. They just have an inbox. So let's take some of our emails and put them in a task. There's something to do. We need to block time during the day to do emails. And an emergency by your associate is not an emergency for you. I mean, it's not life or death for most of us, even for me. We need to CC. When we're CCing, we need to know, are we CYA? I mean, I have people come to me and say, should I CC you? And I'll say, admittedly, it's just a CYA. So you know what? I'm comfortable with the company now. Don't bother, because I have barely enough time to read my own emails, let alone yours. And what I end up doing is a lot of managers is we pick at your grammar and your syntax when we really, it's not relevant. Because a lot of the younger generation doesn't appreciate it anyway, so let's just move on. And what I do is, I'm a big Seinfeld fan. And what I say about emails is like that double shift episode. You dip once and you forget about it. With an email, you hit it once, you look at it, and that's it. You hit it one more time and you find a home for it. You delete it, or we place it in a CRM, which is a contact relationship manager software program. Or, you know, not every email is like a child's first words. It's not really that important. And then I look at prefixes. What we do in our company is that if people are copied on an email, you put an AR in front of it if you want an action required. This is in the subject line, to vendors and to management. An FYI if it's for your information, or an NA for needs approval. This way in the morning when I'm scanning emails from overseas and domestically, I know what's a priority. So, in closing, we all want a purpose-driven life. So we need to discern the rocks from the diamonds and live. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul Bagli. Everybody be sure to make some comments about Paul, what he did very well, and any points you might be able to improve upon. Did you know that the original meaning of Romeo was a pilgrim traveling to Rome? There's another. Why may not this be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quidets? Where be his qualities, his cases, his tenures, his tricks? Why does he suffer, this mad knave, now to knock him about, this sconce and dirty shovel? Now, it said that I died in death. There's a